If you can build it here, you can build it anywhere.
I think I'm just going to say that if you don't like something, change it.
Okay, if I build one on wheels, what are my hurdles? If I build one without wheels, what are my hurdles? What's local code requirement going to drive me towards?
You could be 60 years old and you want to move your parents into an accessory dwelling unit. They have to go over the same hurdles as a 20-year-old that doesn't want to have the lifestyle.
What we need are safe, secure places that someone can actually afford to live inside of.
And this is a recurring theme of we're not going to let you do it.
You want a different lifestyle? It's not a tiny house podcast. We're sitting here today with Joe Toscano. And after that, it's all you, man.
Rock star.
Yeah. And check out the hair. For real, you need to see the videos. There it is.
We'll upload the videos eventually.
There it is. There it was. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your life.
Future resident of the area, probably in the next few months. Awesome. So pretty excited about that. Yeah. But other than that, I mean, work-wise, I am a designer. I design the internet. Used to work for Google.
You and Al Gore.
You and Al Gore. What? No, Al Gore's just pictures everywhere. He doesn't do anything.
He just funded it. You actually designed it.
Yeah. We're making clean things. So I was a consultant for Google. I left about 3.5, almost 4 years ago now. I have since worked on making ethical technology at the forefront of everyone's minds, creating frameworks, creating law, creating new software products. So it's been a good journey. I've written a book. You guys got it right there.
The book is right here.
The book is called Automating Humanity.
It's one of the nicest books I've seen in the last 20 years.
When we got our hands on this thing, we both walked out and I was like, fuck, man, like this book is correct. Like the way that you guys did it.
I mean, that I did it.
Yeah,
I wrote it and designed it, then I found out why nobody does that.
Yeah, because
nobody does that. It's hard as hell.
It takes forever. How long did you spend on that?
Actually, I made this whole thing in 8 months.
I bet that took years off your fucking life.
It did though.
It's almost a baby.
It literally was. It was painful to come out. It's been painful for the last 2.5 years.
Yeah.
It doesn't speak English. I made this because I know that a lot of the issues going on the internet are not accessible to the average person.
Right.
Like the big book that they're like talking to me because I'm a tech expert, and they go, "You read Shoshana Zuboff's Surveillance Capitalism?" And I'm like, "Actually, I haven't." And they're like, "Why?" And I'm like, "Because it sits as a doorstop at my house. It's 800 pages, and nobody has time for that." I made this, and this is what amounts to an adult picture book.
Right.
That's why I liked it.
Yeah,
that was the goal. No, it was like, let's make this like a semi-comic, semi-book, and I think people will pick it up and read it more. Yeah. It's not going to make you a tech expert, but it's going to allow you to talk about things and be a part of the conversation. That was the whole point of it. I've since created my own company called Beacon, the Better Ethics and Consumer Outcomes Network. So we take those ethical problems, translate them into consumer outcomes, because when it is a consumer outcome, it becomes a business problem, and we can make money on it, rather than just hopes and prayers,
Right.
Because that doesn't work.
Hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
Treat me better. I would love to, but let's figure out how to also make money doing it, because we can. And then, so from there, if anyone's seen me, it's probably from The Social Dilemma on Netflix. Right. Featured in The Social Dilemma. I work with the World Economic Forum. I write for Forbes. So CV, I'm all over the place with my resume. But
and now you're here.
Now I'm here.
Brought his hair.
Coming to help out with technology developments out here.
Yep.
Very, very excited to help upskill the community and create jobs and move things forward.
And bring in other people to the community. I know that you've already brought in multiple people to come and see the project that we're working on together, obviously. And that's how this ties back to housing, tiny house. It's not a tiny house conversation that we were having right before we hit the red record button on trying to figure out how to kind of explain to people the reasons that this house that we're talking about, this small living structure, is not a tiny house. And that's because local code requirements are met, and it's not on wheels, it's on a permanent foundation, are the two big bullet points, right? That we have to help people understand. But also, affordable housing is a massive challenge that's not just localized here in a small town or your small town or anywhere. It's everywhere. And a lot of that has to do with rising healthcare and education costs, and housing as well. And so that's kind of where everybody that works in tech or doesn't work in tech, everybody has to live somewhere. And there's natural overlap for all of us because everybody needs a cave.
So in tech in California, how expensive is housing there?
It's pretty bad. I mean, I could buy a couple houses out here for sure for that, right?
For the same amount of money.
Same amount of money.
Yeah. I mean, for context, so I was living in a decent neighborhood in San Francisco, up on Bernal Heights, up on the hill. Very like great lookout into the city, all those things. But also, it was not even like in the city, and I was paying $2,300 a month for one bedroom in a 3-bedroom house.
Smash your head against the
So
wall.
that's with
and
roommates,
listen to
right?
that
That's with
again.
roommates.
Yeah.
That I didn't know and didn't have a choice on because there are 1,000 people applying per house every single day out
Right.
there. You just
There's a
take what you
housing
can get.
shortage, right? Is like number one, but also there aren't a lot of people. General pop, they're going to hit that dollar amount for what their monthly expenditure is for housing, because affordable housing is 35% of your monthly take home, right? So that puts you somewhere at 7 grand,
Yeah.
all done, right?
I mean, I was making a good salary.
Sure, yeah, but
because I'm in tech, so it works. But like,
Well, we're not
the
trying to-
average person in San Francisco, that's why San Francisco is not what it used to be.
Right.
Because the rates have risen so high. Everyone out there in tech is making so much money. We just, what do you want? We just
Snap it
I
up,
got the
right.
cash, like whatever. And
Everybody else that has to work in the
Yeah.
same neighborhood can't
right,
afford it.
they're getting pushed out. Like there's no culture in San Francisco anymore. It's tech bro. And maybe some of the natives, but most of the natives are now outside of the city because they just can't afford it.
All they have to do, if they had known, they'd have been smart enough and had 2 rental properties in front of them, and their number,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And that's how gentrification, in that sense, would have helped the very few locals.
For
They would
sure.
have had to have already owned it.
Add on to that, when I left, the low income, right? That's poverty level, low income in San Francisco was $117,200 a year.
For those of you listening at home, that's not everywhere, obviously, right? San Francisco is a dot on a map for a lot of people that are never even going to consider necessarily going there because they're like, it's expensive. That's how expensive.
It's one of, if not the most expensive places in the world right now.
If you make $100 grand in Fremont County, you don't know. I mean, there's no limit on the size of the house they'll sell you down here.
Pretty much,
You know, well, you want the biggest one? So this dollar amount, like you think, okay, so we're at 100. Let's bring it down to more local Fremont County. You're in mid-30s is your median income, right? Okay, so what's your affordability there? Now you come back into that 35% of that, you're looking at $1,000 a month. Or less.
Less.
Far less, I think. I think $500 a month.
$700-800 is reasonable.
I like the idea of $500 a month, but that's because
That's
I am
definitely,
who I am.
yeah.
That's a number, right?
That's a very easy number, yeah.
And it's an easy number to want. It's not an easy number to accomplish. However, you can't do it with the existing model. You have to change something. Right. And our proposition really, is change square footage. Don't change quality, shrink it, right? And all of a sudden you're like, hey, I want to build a smaller house, and people lose their shit. And we're like, what are you talking about? Who is supposed to afford that big fucking house, and who wants it? I don't want it. I don't want to clean it and heat it and cool it, and you guys have heard me on a soapbox about it. You've traveled more, especially recently, than myself, and probably, Barna's been, to the Midwest and stuff.
Yeah.
And
housing's definitely different there.
It is.
So I don't know.
But it's the same problem with a different zero because wages are generally tied to an area.
Right, yeah. I mean, the wages I was making in San Francisco relative to Nebraska, I'd still be like comfortable, but it wouldn't be like excessive, right?
Right.
It's just your salary, and all those numbers are relative.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I've been around the world the last 3.5 years. I've been on 4 different continents, many different states and nations. Like, I've seen all different kinds of living. I've seen everything from New York, where you're in the high rises and penthouses, all the way to like Brazil, where I was literally sleeping on the floor with my friends at their house because that's how their family grew up. You know, they just didn't know the difference, and everything in between. So for me, I'm very fluid in my lifestyle because I see the shiny thing and I can appreciate it, but I don't necessarily need it all the time. Right?
But it's nice to be able to rent it every once in a while. Or borrow it, or whatever. Like, you want to be able to touch it.
For sure.
But you don't want to take it home. It's a fucking puppy. As soon as you take it home, you're not giving it back. But it's nice to pet and be like, that was cute. All right.
You got bills that go with that puppy, you know?
Fuck. And so seeing now that through the spectrum of where our planet is, really, and especially for us today, the United States, right? We're looking at, like, you can make this amount of money in this location. You can make this amount of money in this location. You said it. It's relative, right? So cost is it's not a fixed, but it's a need. And so we see that, like, however much you make, that area is kind of how much relative to how much housing costs, right?
Yeah. Well, and salaries just haven't gone up, relative to the cost of housing going up, the cost of our student loans going up, the cost of everything around us going
Healthcare.
up.
Hold on. But Joe, make sure that you round this out. Yeah. You have never listened to our podcast yet and heard me say what you just said before, right?
No.
So, right. We have come up with these.
I read books, though.
Yeah, well, right. Well,
I read books.
But I'm saying, like, you didn't hear me say that, so that I'd be like, make sure you say this on our podcast.
Like, literally an hour ago.
That was fucking organic. You said it. Yeah. Meant it because it's real. These are fucking facts of our generation.
I mean, think about this. I'm 31. I've never had a house in my life, and I've literally, statistically, financially, I've been in the 1% in my life, and I can't afford a house.
Dude.
Haven't been able to yet. Because why? Because I've had too much debt throughout my whole life, paying off student loans. Like, are you kidding me?
This is real life, man. I have been able to build a home since I was a teenager and have never had one. Yeah. Never even considered the idea of being able to fucking own one because of the same real. Debt. Went to college, debt. Took out a credit card, debt. Got to buy a truck, debt. Got to do this, fucking debt, right? Like, we live underneath that.
And you're healthy. Wait till you get sick once.
Yeah, I've never been, I don't get sick. Like, it doesn't happen. But I pay for it. Just in case.
Of course, that's what insurance is.
And we're the first generation that's expected to die with debt.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's because
how we don't have any retirement. We don't have pensions. We have a 401k that changes with the market. Like, my whole retirement can shit in a day because it's stock market. It's not a pension. Mm-hmm. The whole system of
and it's
income,
also not cash, right? It's not like you're sitting on. I'm sitting on $1 million right now, so I can do whatever I want. Mm-hmm. That's not how it works. No.
You pull it out, and then you get taxed, and then you got all these other things going with it. And it's like
it amounts to nothing by the time it's over with. Yeah. And the interesting thing about our conversation just up until this point, we have had wonderfully different career field choices. Mm-hmm. Same reality. Mm-hmm. Debt is the dragon that nobody's talking about. Yeah. And
I work 60 to 80 hours a week.
Fuck yeah.
I'm not working a 40-hour week and retiring with a pension at 60.
Not a
That's
thing.
Not happening.
You can't even find that job anyway, right? I mean, and so that same reality, right? 60. Somebody said that, 40 hours a week. I'm like, I remember my first vacation.
House by 25 with a family. And
that's great.
Oh, what? That's not even
say?
possible.
2.2 kids, whatever, or 2.8 kids, or whatever you used to say. Like by the certain age, you had X amount of dollars, you had your house, you had your white picket fence, and your 2.5 kids. Well, that was
no debt.
And no debt.
Because you bought your house for $5,000. Yeah. You got your car for $800.
Dude.
Your college education, you delivered your kid for $108. Like, that's what it cost.
Yeah. Somebody said it. I'm just going to repeat it. And they're like, how can there be a generation of people that are this ignorant and got their college education for the price of a McChicken, right? Ha ha. Not joking, though, you guys. Our reality is that when you look at education costs doubling in the last 20 years, anybody educated in the last 20 years, it was doubled there.
I mean, hell with that. Like, my parents were postal workers, and they had they did not even go to college.
Didn't need to.
They had a house and kids and all this by the time they were late 20s.
My father was a train engineer, raised 3 kids by himself, had a house, has hunting land, likes his nice new truck, all that stuff. They do well, right? But they also didn't live inside of the same system that was constantly trying to, like, screw you for every single cent and then make you pay points on it, right? So, yeah, the old system, we would love to believe it's still there, but it's not. It's just fucking not there. And by the time you realize what is happening, you've already taken the pill and swallowed the debt. And then you're like, oh, shit. Because you were 18
and then you vote for Bernie Sanders because you're like, take it away. And then you're like, no, that doesn't work.
Yeah,
that doesn't actually work.
It doesn't actually work that way either. So
hopes and dreams.
Right. And so what is it with our local area? Because now, like I said, you've run the gamut. You've seen the places. What do you like about our local area? Because you said it, not me.
Moving.
Yeah, you're moving.
I'm
moving
in
here, man. Welcome to the hood.
It's affordable. That's point blank. Like, baseline, I can own a home out here.
Right. It's beautiful.
But Bucyrus, Ohio, you can buy a Victorian for $30,000. Why didn't you choose Bucyrus, Ohio? You could have moved there for way less money. Mm-hmm. So I mean, this is affordable and it's got other benefits.
It's got a lot of amenities. Yeah. I mean, mountains, mountain biking, whitewater rafting, everything I want to do outdoors. Like today.
What were you just doing before you got here?
I was hiking.
Okay, right. It's December.
And we moved the podcast so that I could go hiking.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the
priorities. Thing, that's what we got.
Because I have the the benefit I do have in my life, and this is also because I've busted my ass for so many years, and I am now a well-esteemed technologist. It's been a lot of work to get here, but like I have a lot of flexibility in my life. So I'll go work from 7 in the morning till 11 in the morning, and then I'll take my afternoons off, enjoy the sun, and then I'll work from 3 to 7. You know, I can run my days like that because I don't have a factory job.
Right.
But we've traded off flexibility for completely being like in jail to debt for the rest of our lives.
On your own.
Yeah, on your own.
You're on your own.
Yeah.
You're on your own.
Yeah.
Or before you had what you said, pension, a set job that you could go to, and you could afford the house, you could afford everything. Now you're like, no, I'm a subcontractor. You have a job?
Yeah, that's what I mean. That was part of the attraction for what I do, right? Is that you become the professional. People go, hey, how do I do this? You grind for years and in the trenches. I was on my hands and knees. I am almost every day, setting tile or doing trim or whatever. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I don't have a boss. I have a customer. If my customer's happy and the check shows up, I survived. Yeah. Okay, made it through another one. You know, hand the money off to the other guy because the debt's there, still there. Yeah. And why does this housing exist? Why is this affordable? Because we figured out a way to do it. And that's why the project is so important, because it's like you take a technologist like yourself that would otherwise be traveling or living in San Francisco or wherever. Well, we're building a place for you to come here. Clearly, it's appealing because of all the other opportunities. Mm-hmm. The weather, the hiking, the biking, the rafting.
The community that's been built out here too, though, right? That was a big attractor for me. I mean, you got great schools out here for the kids. Mm-hmm. The stuff that's happening here, Emergent, is a rare thing. This doesn't happen in small towns where it's affordable to live. Right. There's a lot of work that's been done by everyone in this community to build the platform to make it attractive to someone like me.
If you build it, they will come, right?
Like, and I don't mean to sound privileged there, but yeah, like I have the choice to not come to a place like this. Some people were born here and have to deal with the situation. And these guys, everyone here has developed out a lot of opportunity for people. My goal coming here is, 1, I can afford it. 2, I can help accelerate an opportunity that will make it so the next generation of people in this area don't have to go through what I went through. Mm-hmm. You know, like that's the whole idea with my work at this point. I'm not saying I've given up on my life by any means, but I'm saying it's the time to invest in the future. And if we really want to make change, you go to places where you can like make boomerang exchanges of wealth, not just like linearly build your blocks over the course of your life and die.
Right.
So you were talking about like, well, why are you making the decisions you are? And because right now I'm looking at buying a full-size house. Right. You know, we were talking about this the other day. Yeah. And it's not in any way because I don't support what you guys are doing. It's because for me, I'm looking to buy something that I can have a bunch of my friends over to, because I've literally lived off couches for the last 3.5 years. Homeless, literally.
I know that game.
Don't have a lease.
I was gonna say that what everybody in this room also has in common is everybody's lived out of a car.
Yeah,
everybody in this room.
Yes, I have slept. Right? I have a parka. I have a really big parka, and everyone's like, why do you need that? It's not that cold. I'm like, because I sleep in it sometimes in my car. Like, this is my mobile home.
Yeah. I brought my house with me. It's a
and so, but I've slept on a beach. Okay, it's fine. Like, I don't need a hotel room.
Dude, if you haven't
streets of Chicago, done it.
If you haven't slept outside, you haven't
accidentally.
lived.
I got stuck on a bench in the middle of Chicago. Like, that was terrifying. Mm-hmm. But did it. Yeah. You know? And
but did you die?
I didn't. I did wake up to some really sketchy shit happening across the sidewalk from me, so I just got up and found another bench. But yeah.
This is real life.
I've done it.
Dude,
and
everybody, relocation right there.
Everybody,
I don't like this neighborhood. Going down to the other bench.
Freedom. Mobile home.
Freedom.
Everybody sitting with a microphone right now also has at least one college degree.
Yeah, I have two.
Right? Yeah. You got a pair. How many you got? A couple?
I just got one.
You got one? I only got the one. You know, so great. So we all have suffered through education.
And that was mostly because I saw Van Wilder as a freshman. I was
like,
I need to go 7 years. I only made it 6. So
cool.
I did 5.
I had some friends that did 5 that got 1. You know, they just hung around a little bit.
I skipped a year.
Like, other than that, I mean, the things that we wanted to talk about, I think, were obviously understanding more about yourself, more about like what you've been doing, what you've been working on.
I think we should go over what Emergent is, because
we mentioned it.
You mentioned Emergent, but everybody
has
knows. So that's where my office is. That's where we're recording today. Last couple times we were recording in your workshop, which is also at Emergent campus. Right. It's the old Florence High School.
Yeah, it's an old high school building that was turned into, I'll summarize it into like a business incubation place where small businesses can come, rub elbows with other small businesses, and ideally grow and be in a commingled community of other businesses, right? Different business. Like you said, I have a workshop, like a woodworking shop next door to an electronic. How would you describe yours, Barna? What is this fucking place that we're in?
I think it's like a couple thrusters away from a spaceship. So
Yeah, it might be.
Stuff. It's my stuff in a room.
Barna's stuff. And that goes
Like
everywhere.
4 businesses
right.
in one room.
And then, I mean, there's a Boys and Girls Club in the same building. And there's, I think Brock is upstairs with Brock's Relief, where he has a product that helps with, it's a sleep aid, essentially, device for people that suffer from, what's it called, Sage? Bruxism. So
grinding your teeth.
Teeth grinding in their sleep, right. So.
And Double Under Wonder is up here, too.
Double Under Wonder's upstairs. And so, they make custom jump ropes. And that's before we even get into the tech side over at the other building.
And this is a small building, yeah.
This is a small building.
There's the big building.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what Emergent is to me, is a incubator. Is it something like you've seen like that in larger cities primarily?
Yeah, the thing for me that makes this unique and enjoyable is that it's not just tech companies.
Right.
Like in New York, I've advised like WeWork Labs, I've advised Techstars, several other like very large name startup accelerators, and it's all tech companies. Yeah. It's all software. It's all invisible, not touchable, not really that enjoyable. Mm-hmm. Many of them are trying to create another marketing platform or another social media platform. And I'm just like, you realize there's absolutely no productive value in what you're doing. Right. Like it's not there's literally no
I think
productive
Ian and I
value.
had that conversation not that long ago, and I was going to bring that up too, is all the technology companies, like, yeah, you create a marketing platform, you create a social media platform, but it's really a marketing platform. Yeah. Google, same thing. You're just selling something else, right? Where it's ad space, but that's selling somebody's product.
It's a hype machine. It's literally just a hype machine. As soon as the hype's done, it's done.
Who's going to make all the products when Amazon puts everybody out of business or Google puts everybody out of business? Who's going to be left to
Well, why do you think
work?
Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg and some of these guys want universal basic income? They know that they're going to take all the jobs. They know they're going to eat up the economy, and they want to give people money because if people don't have money, they're going to die. The poor will eat the rich. That's how it goes. Listen to Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah. And do
Mortal Man. It's a 12-minute song. It'll explain it. It'll explain the whole thing.
Listen. But yeah, I mean, and that's the whole thing, right? Like we've talked about. You have to trade money with your neighbor so they have money to trade money back with you. It was just one of those things where I'm like, we need to do a deeper dive on the choice because you had the pick. Yeah, you could. Yeah, and you've seen many places. And so it's like, I know why I picked here. And it sounds like we have a pretty similar list of things. Yeah. Wonderfully different career choices, right? But when you become a professional inside of one thing, or like Barna, I mean, professional.
Well, a job's just a job, right? A job is just an economic purpose that drives money into your pocket, right? But life is life. Mm-hmm. There's only so many general principles to life to make your life enjoyable and happy.
I said it to somebody the other day. I'm like, I have fewer seconds on planet Earth now than I did when I first thought about saying that.
Yeah.
I just burnt 10 seconds of my life. I can't get them back. Like,
what's coming out of your mouth, and do I need to listen to it? Because I'm dying as you talk.
Right. I'm fucking dying.
We're all dying, right?
Yeah, exactly, right? And so once you understand like what your life is supposed to be about, what did somebody say? Someone who's found inspiration, it's almost futile to advise them, right?
Yeah.
And so like here we are.
It's been ignorant to try to advise me since I was.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, that was fun.
I got a 35 on the math section of the ACT when I graduated high school. I missed 2 questions on the whole thing. You know what I did? I went into college, and my advisor, this is why you don't advise me, she goes, "You should be a math professor." And I said, that sounds fucking terrible. And I went and did something completely opposite.
Yeah. Dude, they told me when I was in high school that I couldn't become an engineer. So I took all the math classes all the way through until he looked at my transcript at the end of high school and was like, you took every single available math credit possible. Computer science, all of them. Yeah, well, you told me I fucking couldn't. So are we done now? Like,
is this going back to the FU project? Like every single thing.
But that's everybody that's sitting at this table right now. We said this earlier today. I'm like, most of the things that we have done, Barna and I together in business, is because somebody pissed us off. they said, no, you can't, or no. And it's like, you picked the wrong fucking group.
Barna, that's not realistic.
Oh, yeah. Really? Yeah. Oh, you gotta love it, right?
Check this out.
And that's the beauty of like this room and this podcast and this time in our life, because it's like,
I would say mine's less of the spite, less of the like, you can't do it. Mine's more of just like, I want to do this.
Yeah.
Like, this is America.
Yeah. Right.
Do what I want.
I can do whatever I want. That's the best part.
This is still America.
Follow us, like us, share, subscribe. Follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, or wherever you consume your podcast.